At the Mona Bowl in sunny Kingston, Jamaica. Sunny right now, but things might change pretty soon. It's an interesting weather pattern we've got going on here in Kingston, Jamaica. Alongside me for this game is the wonderful Maria Thomas, former Trinidad and Tobago national team player, a bit of a superstar in her own right. How have you been enjoying the day so far, Maria?
It's amazing being here at the UE Mona Bowl. It's a beautiful day, and we're watching some really exciting rugby with these under-19 teams. Absolutely.
Top stuff so far. We've got Bermuda versus Mexico coming up in just a few short minutes. These guys are just getting last-minute warm-ups done, and we've got a couple of interviews, I believe, so we will cut to that, and we'll be back for the kickoff in just a couple of minutes.
Coach Ruben, it's great to see you here at the Rugby America's North Under-19s tournament. You were telling me a little bit about the preparation that you've been going through with your team to be here. How are they adjusting to the 15s format of the game?
They are learning very fast. I mean, we have been working just for 2 training camps after the national states competition, so we came here with a lot of them that they didn't play 15s before, so they are starting to play 15 for their first time in their lives, but they are learning very fast. We are learning from the own game. I mean, we are learning every single game step by step, but I'm sure that we will see them growing in every single step that they will do, and we are very excited and motivated to play against the next game.
What is one of the key elements that you're looking for in this game?
That we need to start with the most powerful that we have inside us, because we started at very low level. I think we need more energy from the beginning, and we didn't have that energy. We found the energy in the second half, but it was not enough, so we hope to start with the energy we need to win this game.
Coach Naylor, how is your day going?
Oh, fantastic, thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to play rugby.
Wonderful. How's your team feeling about taking the field in this next match?
They're pretty excited. I mean, it's our first game of the tournament. Mexico have already had a game today, but yeah, they're buzzing. The adrenaline's pumping. They're nervous, but you know, they're really looking forward to it. We've been training for a couple of months, and hopefully we're ready. We'll see. When
you say the first game of the tournament, we think that a lot of teams have not had the opportunity for international competition. How has your team been preparing post-COVID?
Well, yeah, so similar to the problems that other teams face, we've had no schools rugby for a couple of years, all that type of thing. So it's limited experience. Now, boys that we've got, they've played rugby before at younger age group levels, but 2 years of non-competitive stuff. We'll see. This is going to be a bit of a eye-opener for them, I think. But you know, we've tried to prepare them for that in training. We've done some contact sessions. We've played against some of the men's teams back home, just to try to, you know, get them contact ready.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the game coming up: Mexico versus Bermuda, coming up in just a few seconds. We've got the famous Staggy referee in the middle there, former Guyana national team player, probably as quick still as many of these youngsters. Great sevens player back in his day.
Yes, he's been developing his refereeing skills in Trinidad and Tobago, and he's one of the experienced referees that we have here today. He is joined by 2 assistant referees who are both locally from Jamaica.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's great stuff. Seeing what Rugby America's North doing in the Caribbean area and the region in general is really working hard on developing referees as well as developing youth rugby. This is the fruition of all of the development within these different islands, different countries, majority Caribbean countries plus Guyana, Mexico, and in this case this weekend USA South. But there's phenomenal stuff going on from the World Rugby Organization, filtering down the resources so that all of these kind of things can happen, and we're having a fantastic production just like today in beautiful Kingston, Jamaica. Great surroundings in the Mona Bowl. Bermuda will be playing for the first time today. Mexico, this is their second game of the day. They played straight out the gate early on, and shock defeat against the Cayman Islands. Bermuda look pretty solid though. I'm surprised. I haven't seen the Bermuda guys for years, and this is a new crop of kids, and there is some height and size, and it looks like there's a bit of speed and power out of there. But my first view of these guys in quite a few years, so excited to get this game underway. Bermuda kicking off left to right in the blue, Mexico in the traditional green and red. Mexico come away with that ball. Just about on the 40. Good line speed from Bermuda. A step by the fly half of Mexico. Another situation for Mexico with a size difference, but they're usually very well organized, this Mexican team under coach Ruben. That line speed has slowed down very quickly from Bermuda. They're a little bit cautious. Now Mexico looking to release. Gets wrapped up at the fly half session again. And the scrum half from Mexico, working hard but working backwards, unfortunately. Mexico really struggling to break the line. Bermuda looks solid defensively, very organised.
One of the things we've commented on already today is the referees and the communication and how important that is for these athletes.
Yeah, I'm sure you can hear in the background the instructions for referees, constant communication with the players, just allowing them. It's sort of a little bit of a way of coaching. If the kids are listening, they'll be able to improve and learn from mistakes as the referee's explaining things to them. And that's great that's great for us on the live stream too. Bermuda look like they may be went past horizontal. If there's a tackle goes on and a player their feet go above their hips in the tackle, the defending player will get themselves in trouble. To what extent, we're not sure, but I think that might just be a penalty.
You can see that the adrenaline is high when they see that try line.
Can you continue?
The white line fever, we call it.
White line fever. Both teams are going to be feeling it, both in trying to score that try and get the first points on the board and making sure to defend it.
Bermuda look like they're setting themselves up to crash over the line. Just a little bit of old-fashioned under 12s rugby. Biggest guy on the park knocked the door down, but it's early in the game. There's still a Mexican player injured, so there's not much of a defensive response here from Mexico. They're not matching up very well. On the short side, Bermuda's got 2v4, so that means that Mexico's got a few missing players on that top side. An early injury for Mexico. He looks a little wobbly on his feet. Maybe a check for a HIA. Bermuda aggressively going towards the sticks. Good tackle from Mexico initially. Second phase goes to ground, also short of the try line.
Double movement, sir.
And he attempted to get to the line on a double movement. That's not allowed, so that'd be a Mexico ball. Wasted opportunity for Bermuda.
One of the consistent things that we've been hearing from the technical teams is that at this under 19 level, many of these players have not had international competition before. So this is definitely an exciting time for them. Many of them getting their first national cap for their countries. The emotions are running high, the stress is probably running high, and they're finding their feet on this field.
Absolutely, yeah. Massive step up for many of these kids. You know, some of the countries don't get a lot of club rugby, never mind national team rugby. So huge jump up in level for many of these kids. I'm sure they're enjoying it. Like I said, adrenaline will be buzzing in the first few minutes, but Mexico look a little bit more settled. They're in their second game now.
It's been really interesting learning about the different development strategies. So in Mexico, many of these players were playing for their communities, their clubs, or their estates in the Sevens program. This is a very popular national program, and 3 weeks ago they had a major tournament in Mexico.
So that's them coming off the back of their season. Bermuda's situated. I mean, I used to play a bit of rugby in Bermuda years ago, and they had 5 or 6 teams maybe. They had the police team as well there that I played for, and the structure's pretty good. It's a smaller island, so there's no reason not to play if you've got 5 or 6 teams. And this, for me, looks like they've really done well developing, because these guys look quite well drilled and definitely an athletic-looking squad.
Bermuda uses Rugby Minis as well as Beyond Rugby as another program for middle school and high school athletes. They actually start their athletes from about 6 years old. So many of these players have been playing rugby for a long time. Having said that, this is the first national cap for all the athletes on the field today.
Okay, that makes sense, because I mean I've been doing this for quite a few years now, and I don't recall seeing Bermuda at this age group since since forever.
5.
Let's see how this this scrum situation.
Let's take a step. You guys are too far. Take a step closer.
Bermuda looking a little bit over eager at the scrum.
One of the things to remember is that there is a limitation on how far you can drive the scrum in under 19, so the referee will call when they must stop driving in the scrum.
So Mexico managed to control this one a little bit better. Ball's away. Can they release those backs from Mexico? That's where they're going to find some success, I feel. Trying to play through the middle and get overpowered by the back row forwards. And Bermuda ball in hand again. Did a clean tap on the restart, so the ball will go back to Mexico.
Apoyos, más agresivos y más cerca. Más cerca, apoyo, más cerca, más cerca.
One of the things that the Mexican team is looking for today is that transition from sevens. As mentioned, a lot of these players are coming off the back of a sevens competition, and they've had 2 weekend training camps where they have been switching over into the 15s format of the game. So it'll be interesting to see what new 15s tactics they're going to be employing, and also what sort of 7 tactics they can take advantage of out using the width of the field.
There it is, just as you say it, they're using the width of their field. That's number 21, Abel Puente, getting dragged down just inside Bermuda's 50. There's a lot of players offside there. It's going to be advantage for Bermuda. Sorry, for Mexico. Pani, the scrum half, Mexico, really having to work hard to dig that ball out. And slowing the ball down, Bermuda, Mexico get another advantage. He's tapped and gone quickly. Referee wasn't watching though, so he'll have to come back. You've got to find the face of the referee if you're going to tap and go quickly. You can't do it behind his back. He'll always pull you back into a different spot. Keeps pushing the Bermuda defense back. And now Mexico get away. Looking for a space. Hands are on the ball again. Bermuda going to get penalised. Oh, this time it's Mexico. Held it down too long. That was a clean poach.
Make sure to tap it this time.
Says Mr. Staglin.
Have to tap it.
A little bit of coaching from the referee. There's nothing wrong with that at this age grade. I think it's great.
Yes, both of these teams are locally based. They have a few of their players who have come in, they study abroad and they've come in for the tournament, but it's definitely good to see the local development that's happening in each of these respective countries.
Oh, massive error what happened there. He went to kick it out and the wind caught it. They've managed to save their blushes there, but woof, that was massively dangerous. Now Mexico's got some space on that top side. The fullback captain goes to ground. The captain face on Augustus. Got to be offside again there, Bermuda. The referee calls advantage. Mexico can continue playing. They've got a little bit of freedom to play.
Mexico's doing a really good job of staying on top of it and taking advantage of the offside line.
Absolutely.
Out.
Can they get clean ball? Yes, they can. There's not much space out there. That line speed's come back from Bermuda.
Advantage over. Roll. Let him come.
No release there, surely.
Dive in.
Diving in. There you go.
Dive in. Off your feet, sir.
Lots of mistakes from Bermuda, getting a lot of penalties. However, Mexico are not really getting anywhere. They're not making yards. Let's see what they can do this time. They're looking at some of the big boys to do the job. That's one way of doing it. Finally getting to ground.
Back! Blue!
Scrum half stuck inside the ruck. The outside centre comes in to take care of it. And now they're making some good yards, Mexico. They're well into the 22 territory of Bermuda. And the big boy, number 5. That's Aguirre. Aguirre is making a big impact on this these last few phases.
Mexico is putting the pressure on. They're hoping to put some points on the board at this opportunity.
Mexico, traditionally a very good kicking team. They're usually very well organised. They pass well, but Mexico being a footballing nation and kicking is always going to be an option for them. But they've gone the route of Aguirre because he made plenty of yardage in the last couple of phases, and he makes enough yardage this time to get over the line and score the first try for Mexico. Aguirre, he's a handful. He broke through the 22. A couple of phases later, he broke through again, and now he's dotted the ball down for them.
Definitely seeing how the technical team has worked with the players to have those plays and making sure that they use the space and employ 15's tactics, and they've been successful with that here.
My apologies, I was looking at the wrong line there. It's Ochoa. Ochoa is number 5. Phenomenal work going through the middle. 4 phases, 3 of them were his. He looks like he's done some work though. He's trying to get the oxygen in and the water. Hopefully not at the same time.
6, I did tell you. You must have hands at least below, not on the top of it.
We're seeing some excellent teamwork from both of these sides. And speaking to the technical team, which is for Mexico, coaches Ruben, Pablo, and their manager Jesus. They also have Cristobal as their MD. And one of the things that they mentioned was the community support and thanking the Mexican community because of the internal competition that is there and everyone who helps that to be possible. This is really the results that we're seeing here with this team being able to compete. Additionally, they want to thank RAN because these competitions give a lot of profile, and it becomes a cycle where the communities are excited to play rugby, and it makes a lot of opportunities not only for the national teams but for growing the sport.
Didn't help with this sort of Bermuda.
Absolutely, and that was Pani putting over the kick, which will take Mexico to 7 points up over Bermuda in this game. Exciting game so far. Good, solid competition. There could be a tight one for this game. Por todo mundo que estás escuchando, mirando el partido de México, bienvenido. Gracias para mirarnos aquí en Jamaica. México está ganando 7-0 ahora mismo. Okay, Mexico go to ground just at the 40.
That's fine, it's available. Stick, it's available.
Lots of communication from the referee with the scrum halves.
It's available.
Fly half's feeling a lot of pressure from Bermuda. Every time he catches the ball, he's got a Bermuda blue shirt in his face.
Stay, rock, sure. Rock, that's quick.
Some more of the forwards getting involved to stabilise all of that ruck, dig that ball out. We're looking for pick and go.
Release, tackle!
Makes a half a yard. Trying to find the scrum half. Here he is. Directing traffic. The fly half is wearing the number 13 shirt, Kevin Torres. And Bermuda come away with this one. Now it's Mexico making the errors. The big front row forward, that's number 16 David Cole, driving them through into the 22 with a little bit of help from the backs.
Balls out!
Another front row attempt from Cole. Drops the ball this time. Now Mexico have got it. Defense from Bermuda moves up and they put some pressure on. There's Ochoa, the try scorer.
Release it, road tackle! Play!
Mexico have really got to put a lot of people into the ruck just to deal with the size of the Bermuda forwards.
Coach Naylor mentioned that this team has had some competition within Bermuda from their men's teams. And you're definitely seeing that level of aggression that helped to prepare them for this competition.
Absolutely, it makes complete sense. If they can deal with the big boys, then they can play against the smaller guys of their own size. No problem.
Roll, leave it.
A lot of people will frown upon it, but I think it works for a lot of teams.
Let it come.
Oh, and Bermuda off their feet. That gives Mexico some time to breathe for a moment, think, because they're under a lot of pressure around their 22 there.
The sun is high in the sky. It's very hot out. Not sure if we might see some rain coming in, but these athletes are definitely doing the most, and their fitness is really going to show. We are at the Yui Mona Bowl. They are hosting the Rugby America's North Under-19s tournament, which is combined with the Rugby America's North Women's 12s tournament, but there will be more on that at another time.
Yeah, it's a fantastic week of rugby, and a great excuse for Gavin to go to Jamaica, to be very frank. I thought that's why we were doing this, just so that I could come here.
16.
No?
Of course, that's always a great reason, Gavin, but there are many more, including the training and education that has been happening. So many of our medics, referees, coaches, they came down ahead of this tournament, and they have been doing numerous training sessions. World Rugby and Rugby Americas North enforces strict protocol to preserve player welfare and is able to boast some of the most competent support in the region.
So it's not all about me. Sorry, can't help myself.
We're definitely seeing some of the benefits of that, especially having, the partnership with SportsMax, which is really exciting and helps us to bring all of these games to you in your homes. We will remind you that if your home is in Jamaica, come to UE Mona Bowl. You can watch these games live. There is no entrance fee. You just need to show up, cheer for your team, come learn about rugby, and support, of course, the Jamaican national team and all the teams that are here for this week's tournament.
5.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal location. SportsMax doing a great job. SportsMax is all across the Caribbean. You have it in Trinidad and Tobago as well?
Yes, we do.
And I believe there's some channels up in Canada. So guys, if you're watching this live on the apps or YouTube, whatever it is that you're watching it, feel free to share it through your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever it is that you use to your rugby loving friends, or just anybody in general. Get them on board. Everyone should be playing rugby and watching rugby.
You can tune in on SportsMax, SportsMax 2, CEEN, the SportsMax app, as well as all the affiliated channels, and yes, you can also follow along live on YouTube.
Okay, short injury break, so referee's letting some water on. Looks like Choa took a knock to the nose. There's a bit of claret floating around out there.
One of the great development tools that we're seeing as we return to play is these partnerships. One of which for Bermuda is the Beyond Rugby, where they partner with the Family Center and the Ministry of Education. A number of these players have come to rugby through this program.
No, that's phenomenal. I love it when they start developing players younger. Obviously, I'm living in the USA. Over there, it's just, hey, the guys that don't make the American football team go play rugby. But the development of the game starts at the age of 10, 11, 12. And that's why you can get guys that really know what they're doing by the time they get to this age group. Makes a big difference. So we've got Mexico put in. They're managing that scrum much better now. And there I go, putting my foot in my mouth. So that'll be a Bermuda ball.
So for this Bermuda team, we're seeing how the schools are making a huge contribution to development of rugby within the country. Similarly, in Mexico, it's actually estates and clubs and their national competitions, which is actually, it's like a Mexican National Olympics, and that is a pathway directly to the Olympics, which is the pathway that a number of these athletes have taken to reach where they are today.
And that's, once they get to that point, they're in the Olympic Committee in Mexico City. Phenomenal facilities there for training, and I guess all of the Olympians from Mexico go there. But I went in and visited and did an interview with some of their players a couple of years ago, and it was a great place to be, great atmosphere. Just imagine just athletes walking around almost like their own little Olympic village within the city of Mexico. So great development process there. But they're really showing their work here. Mexico, ferocious tackling, really causing problems for the Bermuda attack. They're not finding half an inch anywhere. They'll keep bashing the door down though. Another big hit from Mexico, bringing Bermuda to ground again. Now Bermuda getting a bit of ball in hand. We haven't seen much from them, but there it goes all the way out wide. There's a bit of pace. Bermuda going to ground on the far side. They're making some yards. Looking for pod work from their forwards now. Mexico, another big hit. They're throwing their bodies at this game right now. Scooped up, steps inside, steps back outside. Looking for support pops it off the ground. Great work. There's the mistakes, knocked it forward. Now Mexico's got the ball, is playing the advantage.
Knock on advantage.
Mexico throw all their forwards into that ruck, try and digging it out. It'll be a Mexico ball from here.
That's fine. That's fine. Stand. Good enough, it's knock on advantage, okay? Stand.
It's incredible to see the diversity within the Rugby Americas North region.
So knock one. Stop.
Unions have an incredible difference in population size, and of course that affects your player pool. And so it's interesting to see the different strategies that are used to develop within the communities, schools, and to produce competitive national teams.
Yeah, one of the things you'll always get from Mexico, they will always be well organised and well drilled. I have a lot of respect for Coach Ruben, the Mexican coach, and I've never seen one of his teams come out with disorganised. Even if they're a young squad that are just getting together, you can still he likes to build. Does it in building blocks.
Box out. Play.
Good pressure from the Bermuda scrum half. And that's to the advantage. Brandon Sachs did a great job there. Now the flanker is Bermuda is away. Now they've got some space over there. Another big hit, but it came in late. The winger for Bermuda is getting very close to that corner. Aidan Kendall over in the corner. They're having a quick conversation to make sure. Wasn't easy to see from this angle, but the linesman says no try. The assistant referee.
The assistant referees today are Sweeney and Lynch, and as mentioned before, they are both local from Jamaica. So Jamaica is not only representing on the pitch in this competition in both the under-19s and women's 12s categories, but they are also contributing in other areas of rugby, including officials, medics. It's great to see the representation and the development of the sport in Jamaica.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're local here in Jamaica and you're watching this, please feel free to come down to UE. The Mona Bowl will be here for the next 3 or 4 days. Sunday will be finals day. If you want to come for that one, that'll be a big day out.
And the support from UE is incredible. It is so important to develop sport in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, in the RAN region, and it's amazing to have the support of such an incredible institution to push rugby forward.
Absolutely. So that's the half. Mexico are 7-0 up right now over Bermuda. A solid performance from both teams, really. There's a try and a kick in it, but I wouldn't write off Bermuda. They look like they've got all the tools. They just haven't had a chance to develop on from where they started off. But they look like they're in good shape. We're going to be going into a break in just a few seconds, but we've got some interviews on the sideline as well coming up. We'll be back in just a short few seconds. taking 3 or 4 guys with him. Great work from the young front row forward.
It's definitely been an exciting and entertaining game to watch thus far. A lot of contact. The teams are working very well together and they're covering the pitch very well, especially considering that it's a new format of the game for them. It looks like they've been working on their communication and strategies to make sure that they're using the full pitch.
Absolutely. That one was just Bermuda trying to get themselves back into the game over on that far corner. It was disallowed. He stepped out according to the touch judge, and that kept it at 7-0 for Mexico going in at the half. And they'll be looking to win this game in the second half because they took a surprising loss earlier in the day. Mexico looking to win this second game of the day.
Yeah, Mexico's definitely going to be talking about, you know, where they want to improve and certain things they want to achieve on the pitch. And Bermuda now having this first half behind them, they've got those first hits in, so they're going to come back very focused in this second half.
I'm sure. It looks like, I'm looking at the Bermuda team, they've got all of the tools there. They just haven't got themselves organised yet. Haven't had much ball in hand, to be fair. But Mexico, to be honest with you, Mexico's defence was solid when needed. It got very hairy here in the middle of the park. We're going to go to a couple of interviews now. We're back in a few seconds for the second half of this game.
Coach Naylor, first half is over and we've seen a lot of great physicality from your team. How are you feeling about their performance in the first half?
Yeah, plenty of physicality, but I think the adrenaline, the nerves were kicked in a little bit. They made a couple of uncharacteristic errors, but that's to be expected. I'm all right with that. They got better and better, so the last 5 minutes of that half, it was okay. So unlucky not to finish it off. The little try in the corner, we thought we had it, but touch judge said no. That's the way it goes. So yeah, to be expected. I think we started okay, but just 1 or 2 errors did, compounded our field position. But it's all right.
Always good to get that first contact out of the way. You think the team will come back more focused in the second half?
Definitely. I'm going to have a little chat with them right now, but they're a mature bunch and they're going to know that what they have to do anyway. So looking forward to it.
All right, we'll let you get to that.
Thanks a lot. All right, bye bye.
Hola, Guido Cortez, vice captain for Mexico.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling after the first half?
We're feeling excited. I think my team is so hyped. It's going forward. Never give up as we train. We know that this is a very important match. It's going to determine very important other things, but we have to keep going and never give up.
Your team is not backing down from any of the contact. How are you finding the adjustment from the 7s format to the 15s format of this game?
Of course, it's a very complex system. It's so different, but we always try to keep forward.
Okay, we're going right after this short break. We'll be back for this second half. All right, we're going to get this one back underway. Young Emilio Sanchez will be kicking off for Mexico. Bienvenido a todos los mexicanos que están escuchándonos ahí en la Ciudad de México y todo el lado del país. Los jóvenes aquí jugando muy bien en su segundo partido. Ahora mismo 7-0, encima de Bermuda. Emilio Sanchez is going to get us underway in just a few seconds. Obviously Mexico in the traditional green on the left-hand side of your screen, kicking to the Bermuda Islands on the right in blue and pink. Good height on that kick. That's dropping in on the number 4, Jay Dunleavy. Offloads the ball, working the stiff arm, the Bermuda boys.
Release and roll, leave it, leave it, leave it.
Mexico forward coming in from the side, was told to leave it. Ochoa Ochoa getting himself in trouble there. Bermuda scrum half needs to tap and go from in front of the referee.
Number 5. Yeah, go.
All right, so we're seeing this Bermuda team come out. They've definitely had a good halftime talk. They're looking very organized and gaining some ground now on the pitch.
Mexico with the ball at the halfway line. Got a case of the dropsies right now.
Let's bring it back for the first scrum here. Scrum.
Advantage, so that'll be a scrum to Mexico. Just inside the Bermuda half.
Scrum, yeah. You need to bind.
I was speaking to the manager for the Bermuda team earlier, and he was informing me that this team has spent 8 weeks in training camp in preparation for this tournament.
Nice, yeah, great location, Bermuda. With it being a smaller island, it's pretty easy to pull people together. They can do that. That's awesome. I think I remember cycling the length of Bermuda in about 2 hours. A long time ago. I wouldn't do it now, or it might just take a long time. But yeah, it's a small place, so easy enough to put the national team together. Whereas Mexico, completely opposite problem. They're pulling kids from all over the country.
Yeah, and they're led by, as we've spoken already, with head coach Chris Naylor, the assistant coach Anthony Cupidor.
Seconds.
Yeah, they always have a solid men's team, adult team, but I haven't seen too much of the youngsters up until now. So I'm excited to see what they can do, because they look like they've got the body parts for it. They look like they've got the tools. Can they put it all together and get back into this game? Fly half hasn't had much chance to play with the ball. He's had a lot of pressure. Good defensive line from Bermuda each time he's received the ball. Maybe they're looking at him as the danger man. Pods working for Bermuda, crossing the 50.
Roll tackle! Roll tackle!
That's the big flanker, Dill.
Play knock on advantage! Play knock on advantage!
Mexico got the ball back.
Ball is out! Right.
He's gone around the side.
No.
So they'll go back for the original knock on.
Yeah.
So the referees are ensuring that the flow of the game is really good, and that's to make sure that, you know, for everyone watching at home, all our spectators, that, you know, we're getting a good flow to this game. We don't want to impede the teams in any way and stop that momentum. So what you're seeing is that an advantage is played. However, if the advantage is lost, then it goes back to whatever that first infraction was for the team.
Much more entertaining game as well.
Let's go. Off.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a break here.
We start again.
An unscheduled break. We've got lightning coming in, and I'm standing on a metal frame, so I'm going to get out of here. We will be back very shortly. We may have to go to commercial breaks, and I'm sure the clock will stop and be reset as soon as we're up and running. We need to wait for this lightning to clear, though.
Thank you for joining us and your patience. Again, we are at the UE Mona Bowl.
But yeah, I'm getting out of this. Standing on a metal frame. Yes. Yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Gavin McLeavy here at the Mona Bowl in Kingston, Jamaica. We've been on a lightning break. We had a lightning threat coming through the mountains here, so we had to stop the game for a little while. We were about 5 minutes into the second half, and Mexico were 7-0 up when we had to stop play. We're about to restart. The heavens are opening. We're having all kinds of fun down here in Kingston, Jamaica for this game. Mexico 7-0 up currently over Bermuda. We're just going to get it underway in just a moment. I don't believe it will be a kickoff, right? Because we were already a ways into the second half, so it'll be a restart of some form.
Yes, Gavin, this is definitely going to be a for these athletes here. They've had an unexpected break in the game, and they've returned to play in the rain.
Yeah, an interesting one. I think Mexico definitely controlled the first half, but Bermuda were creeping back into it, if my memory serves me right. And again, I think I mentioned earlier on in the day, I think Bermuda have got all of the tools. They just haven't had much time with the ball in hand yet to give Mexico any problems. So we'll see where we go from here.
It'll be interesting to see how the rain impacts ball handling.
Yeah, it's typical tropical weather. 5 minutes of heavy rain, and then it stops and the sun shines and the temperature turns up 90 degrees. All fun. So we're getting underway with a scrum to Mexico. It's about just a few yards in from the halfway line.
You're buying them with ankles,
Again,
right?
the team of officials, we have Richard Staglon in the center.
Yeah, let's go, guys.
He is assisted by Jamaica. These athletes will want to get this game going. It is definitely better to play rugby in the rain when you are moving. So we followed up with the teams during the break. They were doing a number of stretches, a little bit of, dynamic rest.
Is that what we could hear from the gym earlier on? There was a big noise. Is that all those guys singing?
I think they were making sure to stay warm to return to the pits.
So we got another attempt at this scrum here. Mexico put in. They come away with it nice and stable that time around. Working to the outside early, and this is where Mexico really can be strong historically. When they work to the outside, that's usually where they find some success.
Yeah, so far they've got good hands on the ball.
Big tackles coming in. Ball popped out the back there
nice
nicely.
Offload.
Mexico goes to ground on this near side. They've got an advantage. There was a high tackle in that last phase. Ochoa taking the ball. He's carried well so far today. Support's there as well. They're trying to rip the ball from him, but he's holding on well. Big strong boy.
Out. Hey, leave it alone.
There's a pod for Mexico. Second phase for them.
Leave it.
Take a little bit more structured, a little bit more composed now, don't they, Mexico? Working to the outside. That was was that the number 11 that you were interviewing earlier, Maria?
Yeah, we had a moment to catch up with the vice captain from Mexico.
So Mexico ball. They're going to start off with a pod through the middle, looking for a bit of space. A fair amount of high contact happening from both teams at the moment. Out the back, fly half's under pressure. He tries to step inside against his counterpart.
Out.
And Bermuda driving Mexico back, but they stay structured. Taking their time, slowed it down a little bit. Nice and composed
Backward.
from the Mexico scrum half.
No.
And no progress. Mexico really struggling to break down this Bermuda defence. This is a game now for this second half. With the rain coming down, they're going to have to work a little bit tighter. They're not going to be able to throw the ball around so much, which I feel like that might play into the Bermuda Pack's favour.
Definitely getting well-rounded experience on this first day of the tournament.
So Bermuda put in here. A nice steal from Mexico in that scrum.
Stay.
Now they've got the ball in hand. Can they work it wide? A step inside and that ball squirted out. That's exactly the problem we're going to have today. Trying to keep it in their hands is a difficult task.
No advantage from a knock on.
And this will go Bermuda's way.
Mark it, sir.
So the referees pulled it back to the first knock on, and there will be a scrum.
Seconds. Coach. 5. Set.
Again, you're seeing the teams doing a good job of holding those scrums. For under 19s, for player welfare, they are not allowed to drive further than 1 meter.
Player welfare, that's what it's all about, I guess. You've got to take care of the boys.
Leave that green.
Lots of good communication from Mexico defensively. You can see them pointing out their man.
Leave that.
Sangster comes away with it, looking to work wide. There's a bit of an overlap here. If you can get the ball away, the ball goes to ground one more time. He's let that flow. Good call, it didn't go back.
Let it come, road green out.
Sangster's working with a pod this time. He goes to Cole. Cole well brought down by the Mexico defense.
Yeah, Mexico's doing a good job staying really low in their tackles for the most part.
There's Soto. Soto working wide. Out to Cooper. Cooper takes it to ground. Support arrives for him. There was a knock on in there that time.
That went forward. All right.
So there's plenty of time on the clock. There's still an open game. Very different game in after the interval, though.
Definitely. I know the technical teams will have been working very hard to keep their athletes' minds in this game during that break. That is a challenge for any coach.
Yeah, it's always difficult to stay focused when you get an interruption like that.
The teams have come back very focused, so they must have done a good job.
Looks good.
Hold, no push, hold.
Fly half looking to work directly, trying to keep the ball in hand. Got themselves the ball back here. Will they be looking to work to the kick outside?
That's good. See the work a bit harder.
They're right in the middle of the park, and one of the biggest things with this field is the wind. It does change direction every couple of minutes, so it's no fun for the kickers, especially at this kind of distance. And there you can see it, the difficulty that they've got.
Your line green, let's go.
So they've got a line out here just outside the 22 of Mexico.
Your line out. Green. Step, thank you. Blue.
Hooker Tenorio throwing in at the line out.
Close up. Thank you. That's fine.
It's always interesting to see the different strategies that teams have for the lineouts. They have an opportunity to lift players, and this is a nice way that they can organize some set plays off of the throw-in.
Yeah, got to have good communication in there. Maybe Mexico has a little advantage with the only team in this competition in speaking in Spanish.
Knocked by green in line.
So that communication can be done openly.
Seconds in. Coach. 5. Set. Stay. No pushing. Hold.
And the ball comes out the Bermuda way. Looking to work wide. Step inside. Drag down at the 22. Again, working with the fly half again. He steps inside. He's also brought down. This time we've got 5 yards up on them. Working around that same corner. They've folded around well, Mexico, to defend that. And they've broken through the line. He's going to get over the little scrum half. I think it's Sangster. Gets himself over. Bermuda have scored. That's going to make things interesting for the last 9 minutes of this game.
Seeing the support and celebration there from the Bermuda team.
Great little step from Brandon Sangster to get himself over the line, aiming for the sticks as well, but got dragged down. Well, Mexico chasing. But they just ran out of resources on that far side, Mexico. They folded around the corner a couple of times, but that third or fourth time they just couldn't get the numbers there quick enough. Great work, Bermuda.
So now Bermuda will look to convert this try to tie the score.
Uncle!
No, it must be a player.
So going to get some assistance just to make sure that the ball stays in position for this kick.
They are on a time limit, so they can't spend too much time getting this kick done. And that works. Bermuda have scored another 2 points. That squares it up, 7 apiece. Mexico, Bermuda.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely. They look like they've done it 1,000 times already. Very well coordinated. So Sanchez to kick off for Mexico. This should be an interesting 10 minutes we've got coming up. Good thought process there, taking the ball with his feet.
Yeah, offside. Hey, whoa, back. Marcus here. Back 10 guys. That's a penalty. You're offside. All right?
That's the referee making sure that the Bermuda team understands getting back behind the offside line.
So great work there, taking the ball with his feet, but the player in front of him was in an offside position to pick that ball up. But making up for his errors here, we've got Bermuda now with ball in hand. The substitute coming on there gets in the action immediately. Kabir Dale involved in all of the action at the moment. Mexico looking to cause all kinds of problems at the ruck and try and get Bermuda some dirty balls so they can maybe disrupt things a little bit.
Forward.
Ball slipped forward there from Bermuda. That's going to be an advantage to Mexico.
Yeah. Forward.
So again, while they set up the scrum, we are at the UE Mona Bowl. We are in Kingston, Jamaica. If you're watching us through the SportsMax channels, we are so happy to be able to bring this tournament to you in your homes. And if you are in Jamaica, then come and make your way down to the UE Mona campus. We'd love to see you in person.
Of the competitions. Jamaica have been fantastic hosts so far in the couple of days of preparation.
So calling for a flanker there for the Mexico team. They are transitioning here from the sevens format to the 15s format of the game. In sevens, the scrum only has 3 athletes, so they only have the front rows as opposed to having 8. It is an 8-man scrum in 15s.
A well-coordinated scrum can do wonders for a team. So keeping it nice and tight in there so you can get that ball out clean is paramount to the success of the team very often. As the inside centre, that's Sanchez crashing the ball. As the heavens have opened here in Kingston, Jamaica. There's a lot of rain coming down, really heavy.
17.
We're seeing the strategy change a little bit. It's shorter passes, it's tighter support, just making sure that they can maintain possession of the ball.
Bermuda player getting a yellow card. I didn't catch what happened in amongst that. A couple of the Bermuda players did look frustrated in the moments prior to this, so
the yellow card results in a 5-minute penalty off the pitch, so Bermuda will now be playing short. One player.
He went into contact without wrapping. He just went in a shoulder charge. That's what it was, I think. Dangerous play. So Bermuda with the ball. They're stuck at the 22. They're struggling to get out of here, even though the wind and the rain is kind of behind them. Mexico putting up that green wall really well.
Mexico will be looking to make use of this 5 minutes where they will have an overlap.
Yeah, it always helps a lot when there's an extra player on your team.
Right, good. 4 blue, sub. Number 4 blue. 4 blue.
There's your substitution. Taking Jay Dunleavy out for Gareth Cooper coming in. I think that's the second row.
Was knocked by Green.
Sean Bremer there joining his pack. A few changes in this Bermuda team in the last few moments, readjusting, trying to find that balance so they can take advantage and get themselves for the first time ahead in this game.
It's great to see the coaches utilizing the full potential of their benches. This is an opportunity for all of their athletes to get international competition. I know within the unions, coaches and teams are very grateful for the community, the clubs, everyone that provides competition for these teams to prepare them to be in this tournament. And this opportunity here to have the international level of competition with their peers is so important for developing the game.
Absolutely, yeah. If you don't rotate your bench, then they're never going to develop. So it's great that the coaches are using their bench early in this competition, and I'm sure it's a good way for them to figure out, hey, is this kid ready? You know, throw them in at the deep end a little bit, see if they do well over the first, first few games, and then they can work out their team for later in the tournament. That's maybe their stronger 15, say. But it's a lot of these teams I've noticed that they really have strong benches, and I think a lot of the team coaches have problems making their selection because it's a coin toss between one guy and the next, I'm sure.
Have a kick here from Bermuda. It's being chased.
It was well placed, that nice big open patch of grass. Finally taken down. He's gone on his own there, which is dangerous in this kind of situation. You get isolated there is when you'll often lose a ball with no team members back. They're trying to work a pod, but ball's gone to ground again. And now it goes to Bermuda. What are they going to do with it? There's not much space out here. Mexico defense has come across well. It's literally like a slippery fish out there, that ball. Nobody can hold on to it. So in amongst all of that, there was a knock-on. Now it'll be interesting to see if they keep their footing in within this scrum after this water coming down so quickly. Torrential rain here. We're basically, when we say the place is called the Mona Bowl, it literally feels like you're in a bowl. It's surrounded by extremely steep mountains, which obviously creates these tropical sort of clouds that come over and dump the rain. The ball's gone back to the front of the scrum. It's gone live though. Somehow Mexico have managed to survive that, but the Bermuda are still counter-rucking.
Mexico is quick to get back in position there. They want to make sure that there is another call for being offside.
Dill taking it in. He's been in the action a lot this half, Dill. He's been kept busy. He's lost the ball this time though.
Let it come.
So Mexico's got this ball and they've got the advantage here. Trying to work it out wide, and every time they try and catch the ball, they have to have a second attempt at catching. There's so much water in the ball at the moment.
But really have to commend them. I mean, this is a pretty heavy downpour. We've got first international matches happening here today, and I think that both teams are doing a great job of handling this weather.
Staying very composed. Working out the back now this time, Mexico. Can they find a bit of space out here? They're going sideways right now. Bermuda's tackled well, and there's Dill. Not Dill.
You're seeing a good formation from Mexico here, making sure that the ball gets back and the channel is as narrow as possible.
Mexico trying to work their forwards just around the outside of that initial line speed. Big hits from Bermuda. Really pushing Mexico back the last couple of minutes. Multiple phases, but they've still managed to keep hold of the ball. It was a high tackle that time. Mexico come away with it.
Play.
Pani doing a lot of good work.
Offside. Back.
Sanchez getting them underway. Looking to work with their forwards, keeping it tight, keeping hold of the ball. Smart. Making good yards, pumping the legs, doing the basics right, Mexico.
Hold.
Looking to work with Sanchez. He's dropped the ball. Did he get his foot to it? No, he didn't.
Number 5.
Offside, Bermuda. That was a perfect opportunity for Bermuda to get the ball back.
Wait on the next one. Marcus here. Do you want wait. Marcus here. Nope.
All right, we'll see if Mexico goes for the same play again or if they're going to kick the ball.
Got something else up their sleeve, I think. Torres coming in now instead of Sanchez.
Back.
Looks like they've got something up their sleeve. Torres gives it to his forwards, looking for the power step. Knees on the ground. They've got to release him at this stage. They're going to not releasing him. That's another penalty. Late hit, but he's gone through. Sanchez has found a bit of a gap. He's on his own at the moment. Support's arriving now. Now Mexico in a great position. Another pack, another pod of forwards.
Mexico working to draw in the Bermuda team and create that space.
Absolutely. Is the support there? Now a big hack ahead for Dill. He's chasing it on his own. The rest of his team's trying to catch up, but Mexico across there in numbers to cover that. This is where Bermuda are arriving now with 3 or 4 forwards on the ball carrier. If Mexico can work around the outside here, there might be an inch or two of space, but he's dropped the ball in an awful place. He's going to be extremely isolated here. Can Bermuda steal it on the line?
That's on the line. Right, so that's taken back by Green. Game.
And that's the game, ladies and gentlemen, at 7 apiece. Bermuda, Mexico. Interesting game. Very different first half from the second half, if not for the weather, but for the style of play as well. Excellent game, 7-7.
Yeah.
We're going to be back in just a few seconds. Boys are there congratulating each other. Expression, a game of 2 halves, especially with the lightning in the middle of it. But Mexico controlled this game for the majority of it, the first half and the first few minutes of the second half too. But it was interesting. Bermuda really didn't use all of the tools they had, but Mexico certainly did. And Ochoa was one of those. He did phenomenal work getting over early on, multiple phases using him to carry the ball, and then going into this contact, managed to barge his way over. All kinds of power and strength on that boy. And he was really happy to get that one on early in the game, and then it feels like a long time ago, but they managed to get the kick as well. A big improvement in that second game from Mexico. And then Bermuda sort of slowly got themselves back into it to even things up. And again, they've done well. Interesting for the pool play. If we've got a draw, that makes the numbers and the points situation interesting.
Definitely, we heard from the coach for Mexico talking about the level of energy, and I think that that's something that Mexico definitely stepped up and maintained their level of energy, even despite the long break in between. But they really kept at it. Both teams kept their energy levels high right to the end of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Bermuda looked hungrier towards the second half, but as you can see from that, right at the death, they were pressuring Mexico to get back there. But yeah, phenomenal game. 7-7, Bermuda, Mexico. Thank you so much for joining me for this one, Maria. Really enjoyed that one. And now it's a little bit fresher around here. We'll be back in a few seconds.